This Sunday is the third Sunday of Easter in Year B. The first reading this Sunday is again from the Acts of the Apostles. Soon after the resurrection and ascension of Jesus into heaven, Peter and John went to the temple in Jerusalem, and they found a man who had never been able to walk. Peter said to the man, "In the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, stand up and walk." And immediately the man was healed. He stood up and walked. The people at the temple were astonished, and they ran to Peter and John. Peter said to them, "Why are you staring at us?" And then Peter gave a speech to explain that the man was not made strong by Peter or John, but by faith in the name of Jesus. This Sunday's first reading is that speech. The speech was made by Peter not long after Peter himself had denied Jesus, before the crucifixion. Peter is critical of the people and perhaps himself. He says, "This is the same Jesus you disowned." But Peter is also reassuring. He says, "I know you did not know what you were doing. This was the way God carried out what he foretold." The speech concludes with the encouragement to do better in future, to turn to God. The second reading this Sunday is again from the first letter of St. John, his letter to the early church community that we spoke about last week. Here, John is also critical of the people. He starts by saying, "I'm writing this to stop you sinning." But like Peter, John is also reassuring and encouraging. He says, when anyone does obey what he has said, God's love comes to perfection in that person. The Gospel reading this Sunday is from Luke. During the Easter season, we hear a number of narratives about Jesus after the resurrection. This is a similar reading to the Gospel of John that we heard last week. In Luke's narrative, Jesus appears among the disciples and does physical things. He eats fish and lets the disciples touch him. Jesus opens the disciples' minds to the prophecies that had been fulfilled and to the prophecies that were yet to be fulfilled, in no small part by the disciples themselves.